Alright. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is time for some matches from the much requested Uthermal $15,000 2v2 circuit event. We've got Serral in the top left playing for Basilisk. His teammate, Team Liquid's a laser. That's right, 2 Zergs. Because, guys, if there's one thing we've learned over the years, is pro gamers do not optimize their team games at all. Playing double Zerg, usually not advisable, though there are some strengths. You can hit some really good coordinated explosive timing attacks. That being said, you are going to be playing against 2 Protoss players. Showtime comes in for the block. And he's got Trigger here as well. He's also going to block, so they're both going to block their expansions. A laser's moving down to take that left side base. Serral's going to have to move out the right. And you know what's funny, guys? I think they were going for 15 hatcheries here, thinking they could get it down before they got blocked. But Trigger and Showtime studied the map, realized this is a short rush distance on Rohana, and they could get across here to screw up these openings. Serral, he thought that probe was going to move on. Showtime just sits there, doesn't move at all. He knew Serral would wait to put the hatchery down, so Serral has to go Sporting Pool. And even now, okay, now finally the probe leaves and he can go back to take it. But my gosh, that is a late expansion, Gunnies. 1 minute and 13 seconds. Now, we've got Showtime bottom right here in the teal, Trigger in the blue. I don't know why these guys would pick double Protoss. Double Protoss has to be considered the weakest team in team games. Now, the reason Protoss is generally considered weak in general, like if you, okay, let me explain this in a few ways, because obviously, don't get me wrong, Protoss Terran is considered usually, just by most people, the best 2v2 combo, but if you see a Protoss teammate and you're playing random team, like random, just you queue into 2v2s, you get a Protoss teammate, you're an average Joe on the ladder, you would not be blamed if your heart sinks and you go, oh no. And the reason is Protoss doesn't build a lot of units very early on. They have very good units. They can defend with shield batteries and wall-offs at their own pace. But if they've got to leave their base to help with something reactively, a lot of Protoss players are like, hey, I have 1 adept and also here's an oracle. At the same stage where the Zergs and Terrans have 6 Hellions and 40 Zerglings flooding into your base. Now, luckily, they do have a joined base here. I'm not sure what the map pool's like for this tournament. If all of the bases are joined and you've got like 1 shared wall-off, it's okay to play double Protoss. But if you're split up a lot, it gets really hard to defend because it's very difficult for Protoss until about 6 minutes onwards to move out from those wall-offs, right? Protoss is normally very bare bones, low on the unit count, and then they explode into units at a certain point after being greedy early on. Now, interestingly, it's double Twilight Council for Showtime and Trigger, which is very different to the standard. Phoenix is the most standard thing against Zerg players, where you go kill Overlords. One of the problems you'd have going Phoenix here against like a Laser and Serral is the big danger of a double Zerg team is these guys can hit amazing timing attacks. Now, look at this. They're going to join up for an adept pressure. Oh, that is hilarious. Do you think they shared unit control here, guys? Dude, if they didn't share unit control, that would be so dumb. They must have shared unit control. For those who don't know, you can actually give your opponent control of your units. Trying to like control 2 adepts like that, where you're both syncing up the attacks, very difficult. But that's a clever way to do it, where they say, look, I'll give you an adept. This way, even though we've done 1 gate expands, nice economic openings, we hit that early timing. And it's going to be double glaives. This has got to be some of the least optimized StarCraft play I have ever seen, guys. Like, don't get me wrong, pro gamers are really good. On the strategic level, this is so stupid. I have to throw these pros under the bus. I love you guys. Showtime and Trick. This is so dumb. I get Glaives is pretty good against Zerg, but like the whole like basic strategy of 2v2 is almost always one player does one thing, and then while the opponents are dealing with it and reeling, the other one's hitting with another wave, and it's normally like a sequence. It's like a combo, a flurry of blows. Here's the adepts, then here's a DT, then here comes the Warp Prism in the back with the DT drop, then the other guys into carriers or storm or whatever the next step is, but we're just seeing 2 guys open up with a hatch block into glaive adept timing. And I mean, it is very committed. It does feel like it's a big all-in. It's probably not a bad way to get a big reaction out of the opponents and maybe just win the game. Put the Zergs on notice from the start. Pulling off gas there. We've got these gases pulled off a little bit as well. Warp Prisms are heading out on the map. It's going to be a gigantic adept timing. A melee for a laser. Roachhorn for Serral. Serral's going to have to defend this on his own, man. Those lings aren't going to do much. A laser's going to have to counterattack. Honestly, his best bet is probably to counterattack that wall off. That shield battery is a bit too far back, so it doesn't cover the wall off. There's a lot of lings out, but there's not that many roaches yet, guys. 8 roaches, 9 roaches in production. None of them are out. Already mass adept is here. A laser wisely gives up the hatchery as he needs to and runs away from this side. Trigger and Showtime have just joined up. They have 24 adepts in total in one big blob, and it looks like they've given control, so one player can focus on macroing and defense, the other player can control the adepts as if he's just one player, so that he's nice and synced up and organized. That's very smart. Oh, here we go. Mass Adept going forward. He's going to try and get on the ramp. He does go for the ramp, but Roaches and Queens going to fight pretty well against this. The Adepts trying to shuffle towards those Roaches and Queens. The Lings are up in the main defending the Adept drop. Adept drop does redrop there. Prism does warp in. Even more Adepts on that high ground. The Adepts are just headbutting right now. They're just trying to overwhelm the Roach Queen, but it's a really good formation of Roach Queen. Adepts shade into that main base. Will they be able to take this? Adepts are inside this one as well. Lots of mining time going down. Lings can't deal with that. So much mining time falling, and this is a problem because you're still making 6 gate Adept for both players, right? 6 gate from Trigger, 6 gate from Showtime. And look at this, Adept still dancing around. Finally, the Roach is going to get on top. Not sure how many drones they've managed to kill here, guys. Looks like a lot of the Adepts do go down. That Queen goes down as well. These Adepts still ransacking Alaza's main base. Serral's main base still not mining, even though you can see a lot of the Adepts going down, and actually the units lost have higher for Trigger and Showtime. I think they're going to be transitioning. They're both building Immortals behind this. They're still denying masses of mining time. The Baneling Nest is going down. Queen is going down in the back of this base. Lings are finally going to clean up that side. A few Banes trying to get into the main. Baneling Nest almost gone. Here we go. More Adepts coming in from that side as well. Serral, what's he down to? 37 and 35 drones for the 2 Zerg players. Meanwhile, the Protoss players are both up on 42. And they are going to follow up with a mass Immortal Adept follow-up all in attack. Roaches take out a few Adepts, but the recall is complete. Showtime continuing to try to get out of here. These 2 Adepts from Trigger kind of left on their own, but they've got the Warp Prism, so they will be able to pick up and leave. Showtime needs to get up out of there. Oh, he does save a few Adepts at the last second, but they are all heavily wounded. Once again, though, any time a base is undefended, it's just such a menace. And the triangle you can work here, you can drop this base, then that base, then that base. Queens can't be everywhere at once. There's only 3 Queens on the map in total. And it's just so much lost mining time. Alaza's supply is in the dump. 62 supply. Serral's a lot higher at 100, but that's mostly Roaches. His economy, as you can see, not very powerful. Behind this, Trigger's building Immortals. Showtime's building Immortals. They've got Immortals. They've got Sentries. Alaza sees it. He's like, buddy, they're both on 2 base. They're not going to build more drones. We need to stop droning. Alaza's just built 6 more. He's on 2 bases. He's trying to rebuild a 3rd, but I think he realizes we aren't going to be able to do that. I think all of his Lings should be hiding down here, and when the attack moves out, he's got to hope they leave the door open and run in. Otherwise, just run forward and try and break the cyber core to force warp-ins at home, because Lings are going to be near worthless against this number of Adepts in a frontal fight. +1 melee doesn't help you there. Banelings could help out. Unfortunately, his Baneling Nest died, so he's trying to rebuild it. He thought the attack moved out. It didn't just yet. He's doing exactly what we were talking about with that counterattack, trying to buy time. Meanwhile, Trigger still active with his Warp Prism on the right side, hiding under the trees there. Does come into that main base. A few Roaches will split to deal with it. One Adept does go down on the 3rd base as well. Dude, this is a nightmare. I mean, as much as I make fun of the 6-gate Adept, like, you're both just doing the same strategy that's kind of basic, it kind of makes sense, right? Especially if you know one player is probably going to be going heavier Zergling or into Muta or something, because Serral and Alaza are more likely to play a more standard style. So just committing to this very decisive, we're both going to play the exact same style into the exact same follow-up, into the exact same second wave of follow-up, Immortal Adept timing. It's so hard to deal with. More Banes are morphing right now. Banes can, of course, stop the Adepts from shading forwards, but they'll struggle to get on top of these Adepts with so much ranged firepower there. The Ravager's trying to help out. There is no Roach speed. Trying to break down the force fields as best he can. The Banelings struggling to get on top, though, and beautiful stutter step from Trigger and Showtime. Dude, those Immortals are such a problem right now. You can see the Adepts inside the base there, unable to deal with that right now. Just too many of these Adepts. Lings are tracking the shade, but that means, once again, he's denying Alaza's main base. Alaza's 3rd base already went down. So we've got a 1-base Zerg and a 3-base with Alaza, a 3-base Zerg and Serral. But Serral's trying to hold the line on his own. He is landing really good zoning bios, taking down a lot of these Adepts. And he can obviously out-micro the Adepts forever, but anytime he stands and swings against those 7 Immortals, oh my gosh, he's in for some absolute muck. 3 more Adepts do go down there. Serral trying to 1v2 these guys. No shame on Alaza, guys. It's just Zergling style is not made to deal with this. He needed to be into the Banelings when the first Adepts arrived, and he wasn't. And because he wasn't, he's in so much trouble. Force fields trapping a lot of these Roaches. Few Banes do roll forward, but they only get a couple Sentries. Remember, Sentries aren't light units right now. They don't take as much damage, and the 7 Immortals are still standing strong. The Adept Prism is just so disgusting. The way they're abusing these Prism rotations is actually nasty, man. It's making me upset. I'm just like, oh, because remember, Zerg players don't have a lot of mobile anti-air. They've got these little waddly girls, right? You know, and it's just like, you're trying to, it's a kid comes and starts like throwing burning poo at your house, and you got to try and chase them down. but you're 96 years old and you're using a walker. That's essentially a queen trying to chase down a prism. Unless it's really incompetently piloted, there is no way you're ever going to catch that prism with queens. Files do come across the front side. The Depth Shade does cancel at the very last second. Now, Trigger and Showtime are very late to take third bases, guys, but we are seeing Templar Archives for Trigger. Once he had Storm, oh, that's going to be nasty. Supply count, you know, Serral's actually so good on supply, but he's only on 44 drones. It's like this mass Roach Ravager army. And like I said, anytime he stands and fights into Immortals, gosh, it's going to be tough. It's only 6 Immortals now, so I think one of them may have died. Oh, no, there's even more in there. Sorry, I didn't even realize it's 2 players Immortals. It's like 10. It's like 10 Immortals. Adepts are getting cleaned up. A laser's just always on duty trying to deal with that. If you can get rid of that pylon before the warping's complete, that'd be really nice. But the other Adepts will come in to save the base either way. Roach Ravager comes forward. He's got to be careful of the force fields. He does get an Immortal. Serral, very slick. Accidentally splits one Roach forward there. But that's actually very nice, dude. Getting rid of Immortals is huge. So that's the first Immortal that's died for 43 Roaches. If you guys are wondering, that's a pretty standard trading. That's like the Zerg player mentality. Like, if you can get one Immortal for 43 Roaches, that's a good trade. I'm kidding, of course. Like 118, sorry. Adepts have died, so obviously that's been what's tanking. But 12 Immortals are out, and now with Psystorm on the way for Trigger. Oh no, that's going to be a problem. The door is open right now, but a laser doesn't trust it, and that's the hero effect right there, guys. You know, a lot of players used to go, oh, the door's open, run in there, cause some mayhem. But you know, now everyone's afraid. They're like, what if he left the door open on purpose? What if it's a trap? It's hero has created fear in everyone. Ooh, Trigger misrallying an Immortal. So guys, a laser's on 30 drones, and he's kind of like, basically he's a vassal state. Serral can control his military. He can levy the military. Unfortunately, they're not good. They're basically a bunch of warriors right now. We are up to the Musket Man stage of the game. Baneling's trying to roll through. A few of them got through, but oh, that Storm, dude, attacking through the choke point. I mean, this was a big all-in, but the fact that Storm is done, I don't know if they can get through. Oh my gosh, they actually leave 2 Immortals hanging out. Force field count's still good. And remember, you got energy recharge on both sentries and the High Templar. One player using force fields in Showtime, Trigger using Psystorms. That's a deadly combo. Normally it's a bit hard to juggle both of them, but if one player's on force field duty, one player's on storm duty, that's just much easier. If Serral had been up on like 70 workers, I think there would be a bit more room. And he's actually, they're actually his Banelings. I didn't realize he's played Ravager Bane. Okay, they weren't. I was like, damn, that's impressive that a laser had that many Banelings. Nope, turns out a laser's back up to 47 workers now. His lair has just finished. He's got +2 melee on the way. This one Archon in the drop on the left side being a massive bag of Ds. Trigger's up to 1, 2, 3. This is 3 bases for Trigger and Showtime. So 6 bases for them. 6 bases for Zerg, but of course, Zerg would like to be at least 1 base ahead, because remember, their bases are also their production facilities. So if you're on even bases with a Protoss, it usually means it's kind of the equivalent of being a 5 barracks Terran against an 8 barracks Terran. You just kind of, you know, you're down on production. And probably down on economy for the last several minutes as well. Do we have income graphs? No, it looks like income graphs don't work out. Never mind. Ling's find another Immortal. Dude, 5 Immortals have gone to, you know, watch these robo rallies, lad. I don't know where these robos are rallying to, man. Someone keeps rallying their robos out there. Yeah, Trigger's robo rally has been set here for the last several minutes. Ling's are going to run in once again. Good mobility for a laser. He's got to try to buy time. Oh, great position. Uh-oh. Serral, he's got a giant angle, though. He's got a giant angle. Not a bad angle for him. Oh, there's a lot of Storm and Force Fields, though. The Banes, the Ravagers try to run in. The Lings need to go around. Look at that. Oh my gosh, Adept Archon in the main. Trigger is so incessant. He's just constantly in that base being a big D-bag. Oh, High Templar in the open. Trigger not watching. He's watching his drop. And he does lose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 High Templar. Yes, the Zerglings all go down, but with no Storm left, Serral's going to dive. Takes out a bunch of the Immortals very quickly, but he doesn't have any oomph behind. He's already used up his Banelings. He split a lot of Roaches up here as well. Yes, the Roaches will defend the main base, but Laser's back to 50 supply. He used his entire army. Serral right now refusing to die. I'm pretty sure the man has been, bleeding out for the last 10 minutes. His teammate has been a glorified vassal state that occasionally contributes some units that are friggin' 3 3 ages out of date, you know? Lasers right now is like, look, Serral, I've managed to get a pikeman. Serral's like, they have fighter jets. They have bombers. They have friggin' intercontinental friggin' ICBMs, ballistic missiles, man. We've been dead for a while. The double 6-gate adept. Okay, I made fun of their timing for being like not following the standard way of playing, but to be fair, generally the best way to play 2v2s is to hit timing attacks. And if you can join up a really good timing attack together, 2 of you, it's going to be brutal. That's exactly what they did. They kind of just got the momentum with the glaive adepts. And Serral may have refused to die with the roaches. The fact that this main base was barely mining, Serral was losing so much mining in his main, and they lost, obviously, like 32 drones for a laser, 26 for Serral. Really nice game one for Showtime and Trigger, showing the power of the double glaive adept. GG. All right, guys, next game is going to be on Reclamation. We got Showtime top right, Trigger top left, and Serral top right, and a laser down at the bottom. Now, guess what, guys? This tournament, everyone was like, oh, you're going to play the 2v2 tournament and stuff. And I was like, dude, I really want to. I'd love to cast some live. No, it was like, it would start at like 2 a.m. every day and finish at like 7 a.m. or something. Like, it's kind of the ideal European time zone that also it's like kind of the middle of the day or morning America, which is obviously while I'm asleep over here in Australia. But it turns out I was wrong about the format. So for those who don't know, the players didn't pick their teammates. So this is a really cool format for this. The players didn't pick this. Now, Serral or Laser or Showtime or Trigger actually could have off-raced to get a more optimal kind of, you know, oh, let's play Protoss Terran or Zerg Terran, you know, do one of these combos. But then they would be playing a race where these guys, none of them are really known for their off-race, even though I know like Showtime, very solid, you know, 6k with his Zerg and Terran. Serral, obviously, very good 6k plus with his Terran and Protoss, this sort of stuff. But apparently the way these teams are picked is you had to play in the groups where you had to like alternate your teammates. You had to play with like everyone else on your team at some point, essentially in your group stage. And then based on your overall score that you managed to get across those different teams, you would be matched with other players. So I'm imagining, I'm not sure the exact system, but I think they took like players who were kind of barely, who were probably like the highest seed going here to the playoffs, ended up getting paired up in the playoffs with someone who was a bit of a lower seed. And that's just cool because it just forces people to mix things up. You don't end up with like maybe like a Serral Clem team just being so dominant or something because they're so freakishly good. And it forced the players to kind of show their flexibility. I think it's a fun format, really cool idea. And also avoids people maybe just abusing the same strategy for the whole tournament long. Like in case there is like a broken strat, oh, these guys just got really good at this certain Terran Protoss combo style. It's going to be hard to do that when you're swapping to playing with different players with different skill sets. So kind of cool that they tried to focus on rewarding different things. Now, check this out, guys. A laser going for a hatch gas pool into ling speed. So he's going to be like the Zergling player, and he leaves on gas in case he wants to make a Baneling nest. They also signaled that there are chronos on the adepts coming in, so of course they're going to have to deal with 2 adepts. No gas for Serral. Serral going for the quick third hatchery. He's going to want to go get up 2 base saturation, drop 2 gases and a roach warren, and go into roaches super duper hard off of a heavier mineral count. But there will be 2 adepts early, which means they're going to need to both send their queens forward, try to intercept these adepts, and then track them with some slow Zerglings. Now, a laser's building 8 Zerglings. Serral, okay, so it's a laser's job to deal with the adepts. Check that out. Notice no lings for Serral. Serral's like, no, it's your job to be lower in economy. You have to defend the early pressure, and Serral is just droning and starting his first gas. Very cool to see. And a laser. Gonna stay on top. Very well done. Behind this, we've got an Oracle on the way for Showtime. Cool to see them mix it up. And Blink, very early for Trigger. So that's actually 1 gate Blink for Trigger. Both of them have, of course, expanded. Double Stalker comes over, gets Serral's Overlord. A Laser's Overlord will make it to safety over here. This map, by the way, has Zerg giant tentacles. I gotta say, the one, I don't really like that the textures on this aren't very detailed. But more importantly, I wish it would throb a little bit. Maybe it's like a dead tentacle, right? Maybe this map used to be infested, but the infestation is being cleared, or it's like dormant or something like that. Oh my god, there's even more over here. You can see, yeah, tentacles everywhere. Damn! Reclamation. Maybe they're reclaiming it from the Zerg, or in this case, Serral and a laser are trying to reclaim it for the Zerg. Robo's on the way for Trigger as well, so it's going to be up to 4 gate Blink with a Robo. A laser, I think he's just going to stick to that Evo Chamber style as the first Oracle comes in. So yeah, +1 melee for a laser again. And seeing an Oracle, he's going to feel good about that, right? If it was double Twilight again, I think he'd be much quicker into a Baneling nest off of this. But as it is, a laser goes for that lair. I wonder if he goes Mutalisks. I think Mutas would be kind of amazing just to force some Phoenix out of your opponent. Just a single wave, like the European style. Build 8 Mutalisks. Because you've got so many bases you can bounce around the back of, just being annoying. Like, air harassment's so powerful in 2v2s because you can, you know, one player can defend up with cannons, but then you just bounce the other player's bases, and they've got to defend as well. Showtime's Oracle's not finding a way in. Chat says, actually, it was high seed paired with high seed, so you're rewarded for doing better in the group stage. Oh, really? So it's still kind of random, but it was actually high with high. Okay, wow, interesting. Oracle's coming in. Oh, Oracles get 3 drones. Very nicely done. 3 Oracles. He's building a 4th. Showtime's going for 4 Oracles. I guess he wants to have complete air control. Like, hey, if you guys don't walk queens across this map, you're going to have trouble. Now, what would be interesting is if you get both players to walk queens together, right? If you do just a double queen walk with, like, Ravager, Ling, Bane would be amazing, but right now we've got an adept Stalker pressure, and he's already got stasis traps, blink stalkers, and now adepts at 5 minutes. Dude, in 1v1, having oracles and 5-minute blink is impossible. But because this is 2v2 and Trigger didn't have to build Stargate, this is crazy. 4 oracles and he's already got 14 stalkers. Oh my god, 2v2 timings are disgusting. This is like in 1v1 terms, this is so brutal, man. How are you supposed to deal with this? Trigger and Showtime are planning so well, man. Oh my gosh, a laser's going to lose his 3rd. The queens try to come down. The lings try to come forward. There's a stasis trap. A laser, watch out. Like, he does set off the stasis, but dude, they can't deal with this. Not down this ramp. Roaches are coming out now in decent numbers. Roach speed's almost there, which is very, very early. But dude, these stalkers, these oracles just doing so much work. The lings do start to come forward. I dare not look at the units lost tab because we know this has been amazing for the Protoss team. Another stasis trap does go down. Makes it a little awkward for Trigger to at least move up the ramp. But these units that are popping out are just dying. I think a laser should have stopped producing. He cancels the queen there at the last second. And this observer is actually really nice for high ground vision as well. Units lost tab, that's 3,000 for the Zergs to about 600 for the Protoss players. A couple of adepts did just go down in the main there. How many drones did they get? Looks like 9 drones in total. Still fantastic trading for the Protoss team. Oh, Sporecrawler actually gets the Observer on the way back. That's actually really helpful. Really helpful because now you need to Revelate to clear this creep spread. That Sporecrawler moves over. These Lings going to go around. If those Lings... I mean, yeah, the Lings should have been countering to begin with. And I think this is something you need to learn. Is you've got to be counter-attacking with Zerglings. The fact that these 3rd bases got up so easily is actually a real big problem. Now, to be fair, these maps are pretty joined, like pretty easy to wall off the front, which makes Zergling counters just not as effective in general. And maybe Lings just aren't the way to play here, since Lings are so vulnerable to things like Oracles and Adepts and whatnot. Lings are going to roll into this base. A laser with a nice hold position. Oh my gosh, a bit slow of a reaction there from Showtime. Does lose quite a few probes, and those Lings will mostly be able to wriggle their way free. Oracles diving in the main base, do get pushed back for now, but they turn around. Queen's in the open. She pulls back to the Sporecrawler. Nicely done there. Roach Ravager does reclaim this side. Now, Serral's on 62 drones. So it's a total, guys, of 106 workers for the Zergs, and it's 109 for the Protoss. So it's very even economy. As these Nexi come in, Trigger's 3rd base coming in. So 6 base for Protoss. Stalkers with the Prism blinking in the main, picking off a few of these... looks like one drone barely surviving. The Queens do push it back. But yeah, so Templar Archives coming in for both Protoss players. They're going to go Storm, Hydras, and Infestation Pit for Serral. He wants to go up to Lurkers. Infestation Pit's on the way for a laser. I think he wants to play Ultras, most likely. I do still think like Mutas would have been amazing just to squeeze around in anything to open up a new front and keep these guys at home, or maybe some Ling drops or something. Like, it just feels like the Protoss are so easily able to dictate everything that's going on in this matchup right now. And that's something you can't be letting happen as the Zergs, which is why I was like, yeah, could you do a Queen Walk? You know, could you do this? Could you do that? I don't think Queen Walk really works because you don't get a chance to move out, right? Against 4 Oracles spamming stasis traps and potential lasers so early in the game. Hive and Lurkaden started for Serral. He's got +2 range on the way. Hive and Burrow on the way for a laser as he tries to retake a 3rd base, but he's only on 41 workers. He's got a ton of Zerglings on the map, but he hasn't been able to find any avenue to get in, and this is a problem. Like, the lasers on mass Zergling on a relatively all-in economy. The Protoss players are both up above 60 workers. A laser gonna have to deal with that drop as well. He does try to get in on top of these High Templar. He's gonna catch a few of them, but 2 of them do morph into an Archon. This is a lot of Zerglings. Can't really afford these trades. You know, Alaza's down sub 100 supply. Serral's max, Showtime and Trigger both at about 140. And the Lings, they're trying to find anything they can, but Alaza just doesn't have the economic base that he'd love to have at this stage of the game. He's going to pick off a few of these probes. The Immortals will finally deal with these Zerglings. That Prism still being a nuisance over there. Alaza, he's still building Zerglings of just 47 workers. I think Serral probably could have held off both Protoss players for a little bit, and Alaza maybe needed to take a chance on taking a faster fourth base and just droning for a minute there. But now he's missed his window, and I think it's going to be so hard for Serral to catch back up. He's got Frenzy, aka Lunge, aka Thrust for the Hydras. He's also got Lurker range coming in. Lings are still just trying to get in on these bases, but yeah, maybe if he had Ling drops or something, just got to find a way to open a front. It's hard on these 2v2 maps. It's just so easy with these joined bases for the players to defend. So it does look like it's more of a joined map pool, whereas I was expecting more of like, you guys know, I don't know how it is this season, but like last season, especially the 2v2 map pool was like super wild. Lots of gold-based maps and all that sort of stuff. Army moving down the right and the left at the same time. It's a split push, but the probes getting evacuated from this base. Trigger's going to need to warp in at home. He's supply blocked right now, which is a problem. His whole army's trying to move back. Roaches on the left for Serral. Serral does not want to have these Roaches wasting supply. He wants to replace those with Lurkers. Ling's doing a good job here for Alaza. If Alaza's confident droning behind, that would be great, but he's still just building Ling's, Adrenal, and +3 melee. And I think that's potentially a mistake. Alaza feels like he's got to support his buddy with constant Ling run bys, but it's just too small of an economy, surely. Serral's going to go mass Lurker. I think he can hold the line for a little while. But as the Tempers come out... Oh, Serral's going to go for a Nidus in the back. Nidus Lurker in the back, but it's been spotted. Showtime Zealots, I think, can deal with that. More Lings active on the left. 7 more drones on the way and a Spire building. Laser's job is going to be to deal with that Sky Toss. But he needs more economy to do that. Got a few Lings down there as well. Lings on the right side getting cleaned up. Unfortunate for Alaza. Great defense for Trigger. Does feel like Trigger and Showtime have the Zergs where they want them. Stasis traps completely halting Serral's advance towards these rocks on this left side. The Ling's getting cleaned up as well. Units lost tab, you can see the Zergs are at about almost 12,000 units lost. The Protoss players are at 6,000. It's a 2-to-1 ratio for the Protoss players who also lead in the income. If Alaza could get 70 workers, I'd feel differently about this game, but 57 workers is just too low. No gases. He's on 3 gases only, even with the Spire coming up. Alaza's only going to be able to build 1 round of Corruptors, and not much beyond that. Serral right now, the one-man army. Zerglings going to try and defend this hatchery, but it's in danger. Lurkers are going to deny that. 4th base of Trigger. Trigger is blue, of course. Does get denied up there. This hatchery gets defended as well. There's a pretty decent Lurker spread, but that's a scary army of Tempests and whatnot coming forward. No Corruptors to cover, remember. You can try to poke in, and these Tempests will very slowly just pick away at everything here. Hydras could lunge forward if you're not careful. Storm and Stasis traps all over the shop, though. Trigger pulls back, deals with those burrowed Zerglings. More Lurkers running out the left side. Serral right now has 20 Lurkers, about 8 of which are counter-attacking constantly. And that's a really good job. 12 Corruptors are building for Alaza. But I don't know, man. There's no edge bases, so I'm criticizing Alaza for not droning more. But I'm also like, I understand why he's not. And I'm also like, well, why doesn't he take a corner base? I'm like, there are no corner bases on this map. There's no safe bases. I'm like, can't he hide a base somewhere? I don't think he can. Lurker's trying to burrow to defend this one. Serral, well, he actually keeps the base alive impressively. Lings find a few High Templar. But there's too much of a defense here, even with +3 melee and Adrenal Glands. Like, Alaza's Ling activity has been really good for keeping the Protoss players busy. Ooh, Lurkers. Big concave of Lurkers. Serral, though, eats massive storms, and I think Trigger's very happy to drop the storms and pull back there. Corruptors are going to come in. Alaza does what any good Polish man does when he's run out of other options, and that is to take a pee on your opponent's base. Does get the Nexus, but oh, he's losing so many Corruptors. I don't think that's worth. 6 Corruptors go down, the rest are deep in the red. Does find an Immortal as well. This all buys time. If he had another base coming up behind, maybe, but this base is just so vulnerable down here, and that's the only one left for him to take. Serral's expanded down that right side. Serral can probably send money to him, and maybe that will help Alaza max out on Corruptors, but he will need to add some air upgrades as well. The Lurker Hydra pushing forward. Dude, Serral doing such a good job. Is Serral actually going to be able to do this? I feel like Trigger and Showtime need to group up their armies Like, these Tempests need to be more active on the Lurkers, but they're trying to stay in one clump, and Serral's mobility has been so good. The Lurker Hydra trying to defend this giant front right now. The Immortal Tempest breaking the south side. I think Serral's getting broken through here. Those Lurkers do burrow and siege, but the north side's been overwhelmed. Just so much Immortal Archon coming on in. Serral losing so many Lurkers. He's quickly trying to remax. He's back down to 10 Lurkers. Now he's making more Lings, more Hydras, more Zerglings on the way for a laser as well. A laser is on 11 Corruptors, which kind of enough to scare the Tempest back a little bit, but obviously not when they're supported by Archons and Storm as well. Upgrades right now. 3-1 for Serral on the range upgrades, and it's +3 for a laser, +2 on the ground for blue, which is Trigger, +3 for Showtime. Plasma Shield's level 1 done for Trigger as well. Nice. Borrowed Lurker harassment. Serral's got a 9 in the top right as well. He could unload there. That Lurker does get cleaned. Units lost time, about 35,000 for the Zergs, up to about 26, 27,000 for the Protoss. So I think the gap is actually, or at least the ratio is closed. Maybe not the gap, but the ratio between the two players is a bit closer. Definitely not 2-to-1 anymore. I just get a few High Templar. Nice catch there. Links around a pack of Archons. Very well done. And Serral isolating a small army on that right side. Trigger wisely pulls back to the high ground. Showtime, though, getting good value down here, especially as the Showtime Oracles just keep on revelating. He's done a really good job of keeping those alive. Lings get inside the base. The Zealots will get wrecked by those +3 melee Zerglings. Another base goes down on the right side. Dude, the activity rate of Serral is so good. He's going to pull Lurkers back on this side. There's only Observers here. Notice he pulled out a range of Observers, but Trigger quickly shuffles the Observer forward. Great micro in the midst of the chaos, but that does mean Trigger's not watching his base, where the Lings are overwhelming. Lings get in these bases as well. Single Zergling in that base. Single Zergling in this base. Luckily, there's cannons there. Otherwise, those single Zerglings would have done so much. Trigger does recall. He's going to defend this expansion, but he's lost a lot of economy. A laser got a few workers on that base as well. Forced the Oracles back. Great catch. Oh, the Corruptors looking for the Tempest in the open, but they are still so well guarded. Showtime's army looking fantastic. Trigger's down to 14 probes. He's down to 14 probes. Dude, how many did he kill? 61 probes went down for Trigger this game. At least like 30, 40 of those in that last Ling run by. Dude. Wow, a laser's Ling run by is finally finding the damage on Trigger. So actually the Zergs are way ahead on income now. A laser just constantly spamming Ling run bys, having faith that he's got a goat backing him up, you know? He said, you know what, my job's to just keep these Protoss players busy. Don't let them dictate where and when the fighting happens, because if you let them choose the fights, it's really bad. Hydra's shoving forward. Serral just face tanking these storms. I think it might be worth it. A laser unzips his fly. He's going to go for that Corruptor spray one more time on the Nexus. Does take out this base. Does. Serral gets rid of Trigger's army, which means Trigger can't rebuild, but he's still got to deal with a maxed out Showtime, and that's a problem. The High Templar lagging behind a little bit. Can they defend? A laser's lost 2 bases down here and here now. So a laser's lost 2 bases. If they can surround this army, it's all fine. But there is 8 High Templar, maxed on energy, 16 Psy Storms, 10 Immortals, 5 Archons, and the 6 Tempests. Oh, the Corruptor's come a bit far forward. No, a laser! I can't believe he's watching that. No! Oh, no, that was their anti-air. He just lost so many. The Corruptor count, he's lost 19 this game. He's got 10 heavily wounded. He's trying to build a few more. Serral can, of course, buy time with the Lurkers, but look at that. Single Archon on the right side. Trigger's like, well, I'd have no money. I can just micro single Archons and Adepts in your bases now. Ha ha ha. This is the power of losing everything in team games, guys, is you've suddenly got nothing to multitask, so you can just super try-hard micro single things. The laser's going to run in with Lings up there as well. Hydra Lurker trying to pull back. There are Corruptors here, but Showtime with one big ultra-maxed army, dude. It's such a good ground army with the Tempest support that can just siege you from afar. How do you deal with this? Maybe some Vipers would be good to put some fear into him. The Lurker's going to try to hold the line. There's not enough Lurkers there. There's not enough Lurkers there. Oh, the Lurkers are getting overwhelmed. Of course, there's a big Lurker Hydraling counterattack. It might be base Trader Clock. I think it might be base Trader Clock for the Zerg players as Showtime drops Storms on his own Immortals. I'm not sure if he cast those a minute ago or what, but they do go down in his own units. It's time to shove the production. I think the Lings need to join in for the base trade, because this ball will not be stopped. This is a ball of death right now, and it's a problem. Those High Templar, they're looking for the Storms. Serral able to push forward with those Lurkers and get towards this double robo. Very nice move. Showtime's ball impulse is just moving forward, though. Lings are there. Mass Cannon Archon here. Oh, there's too many cannons. Too many cannons on these base. Storms land on these Hydras. These Hydras are going to move forward, take out these Robos. Yes, it's good counter damage. Hydras do come in, but he needs to catch these High Templar out before they can even think about engaging. Looks like a Rallying Tempest did get picked off. These Corruptors got to try to come in from the flank to pick off the Tempest, but it's such a good organized army. Showtime finally losing a few Archons. Hydra start to take out a few units. Corruptor's going to come in. He's got to take care of these Tempests. If he gets rid of the Tempest, maybe, just maybe, Serral and Laser can bring this back. Showtime's supply is monumental. 160 supply of pure Protoss manhood right now. Oh, the Corruptors do take care of the Tempest, but there's still a massive ball of Immortal Archon. We are going to see a recall get denied. No recall for you, silly boy. That Lurker does get cleaned up there, though. The Protoss players still. Showtime has 2 bases mining and a ball of death against Ling Hydra production. The Zergs have a base there, a base there, a base there. A Laser's got basically no mining. And Trigger is actually signaling on the map saying, Showtime, they're mining that top right. You need to deal with this. If we don't deal with this, we're in trouble. Trigger right now has 2 High Templar and 2 Zealots. That's all he's got. Showtime obviously managing most of things here. He's out of Storm. Ling Hydra comes in, and actually with the drones... Oh my god, with those Storm and the Archon's not moved! Dude! +3 melee Zergling surround! What? Okay, Showtime does have a big Zealot Archon reinforced in the top right. They've lost all their drones there. Oh no, Serral's down to just 29 drones. I don't know if Zerglings can beat this. These are now 3-1 Zealots. What a game we are watching right now. Serral and a Laser have been on the back foot for so long. A Laser's Lings, his Corruptor PPs are doing well. They're making a real fight of it. But it looks like they have just barely been overrun. There's too much Zealot Archon coming in. Dude. Oh, that 5-minute Blink Oracle pressure just was brutal. And it makes me think, like, how do you even deal with that on these maps where they wall off together? Do you just do like a really early cheese? Because it's got to be hard for the Protoss players to defend both of these walls. But with energy recharge oracles, like, it used to be really hard for Protoss, especially dual Protoss, to defend cheeses. But I'm just thinking about it and I'm like, is there even like energy recharge oracle? I mean, there's no way you can do a fast all in. I think Ling run buys have to be it. I think when that 5-minute blink pressure is arriving, I think you just have to be sending all your Lings to counterattack and try to like deny the third, press the wall. You just need to be like so on top of denying third bases and forcing warp-ins at home. I think these Lings needed to loop around. Because they were revelated, he didn't really feel like doing it. But yeah, I think you can't get pushed back to one direction. And Serral probably droned too hard. I think 60 drones is too many. I think if Serral already stopped at maybe 50 workers, started building Roach Ravager, and a Laser was more active with the Ling counters, this is a different thing. But essentially, the Zergs just got caught being too greedy, and a Laser took the punishment for it, losing his third base. Really, really great start for the Protoss players. They're up 2-0. All right. They're down 0-2. No more time for mistakes. These guys either need to get some momentum themselves, or they need to just shut down the timing attacks that are coming their way. A Laser and Serral in the bottom side of the map. And it looks like we are going to see an extractor trick coming out. Laser a little slower on his than Serral. Not a huge difference, though. So Showtime's going to be the guy whose job it is to wall off. It's a bit confusing if you're both walling off, because you kind of like, where do we join the buildings and stuff, you know? It's like having 2 different construction teams build a railroad, and they're meant to meet in the middle, and then they're off by like a kilometer, and you're like, how did that happen? So it looks like the Protoss boys are going to simplify and say, Showtime, you build the whole wall off on your own. Let's make sure you're just the one responsible. And Trigger can save a bit of money here, right? Doesn't have to move as far away from his base. Both players going for that gate gas. Hatcheries are down nice and early. Looks like Serral's gone for a 15-15. You can see he's building the Overlord after the hatchery. Whereas a Laser, you can see his hatchery's a little bit later. So you see his hatchery is there. You can see Serral's is a bit further ahead. The spawning pool comes down way quicker for Serral as well now. On the other hand, a Laser gets to have the gas, right? So he's going to play into Ling speed. Serral's going to play Roaches. Like, they are sticking with what they're doing. They're just going to try to do it better. Serral play gasless initially into 3-hatch Roach. A Laser play Ling speed. And I think that's fine. I just think, like I said, you can't go 60 drones against guys as good as Showtime and Trigger. You're going to have to build some units off 50, maybe 55 as Serral. And the Laser's going to have to run those Lings around the backside and just nip at their heels. Can't be letting the Protoss just rally across the map with those Oracles and Stalkers and get third bases behind it as well. I wouldn't be surprised to see a similar style. I mean, it's a solid opening. Showtime and Trigger could just do that again. We could see Phoenix play because obviously Zerg players have lots of overlords you can choose from. So if you do go for Phoenix, that's cool. One of the old school strategies everyone said was Imba was if you have you have a Protoss player and the other guy gives them a bit of money and they just like rush double Stargate Phoenix against Zergs, and then you just run in and kill all the overlords and pick off queens, and it just gets out of control. The problem always with those styles is against top players like Serral and Elazer will pull their overlords back, get spore crawlers up so quickly, build a round of drones, and then they're so good at building economy, they could hit like a big timing attack, and Phoenix will not be able to defend like a mass Roachling Bane attack or something like that. And in fact, it's actually double Stargate. I cannot condone double Stargate. That's ridiculous. There's no way double Stargate's optimal. I guess if one of you just plays double Oracle into Blink, but then it's like, I just don't think that makes... I think that their strategy from the last game is, in my opinion, the most solid, well-rounded strat. By the way, check it out, guys. Little SCV robot thing here. Down here, floating around and doing some work. This is cool. He's jumping up and down as well. I like this, man. That's awesome. There's a lot of fun little assets in the editor that you don't see used too often. So it is going to be Oracle for both sides. I mean, I guess it's a standard PvZ opening. It's not like it's the worst thing. It just feels a little bit unnecessary, because if the Zergs pair up for like a double Queen walk and both of you have gone Oracle, it's just going to be that much harder to defend. That being said, it's a big map, and it doesn't look like the shortest rush distance. Lots of big wide ramps. Now there is a backdoor, by the way, guys. So there's a blockade over here. And if the Zergs take that down, they've got either this access point there or this access point here. And you can see Trigger's going to come down and wall that one off. Yeah, makes sense. I think as Zergs, it'd be really good to break down your own one as well, just to get more access to the opponent's bases. Oh, similar to when you pair up with the Adepts. Okay, this is clever, because you hit 2 Oracles so early in the game. So if they're trying to defend without a Spore Crawler, just with 2 Queens like a lot of players do, you'd kill like 8 drones. But a laser on point with Spore Crawlers, as is Serral. I mean, his third base would have been actually the more vulnerable one, but he's building a Spore there now as well. Very necessary. Yeah, I think a blockade's just the same as regular. It looks cool because it's got a shield on it and stuff. It looks, I'm pretty sure it's just the same as any destructible debris. I imagine it's still 3 armor, 2,000 hit points. I don't think there's anything special. I think it's just looks cooler. All right, Oracles come in. Dude, they're not really finding any damage. Mass Ling counter. Oh, Mass Ling counter. Your Oracles are on the wrong side of the map. They've gone 6 Oracle. But, oh, dude, a laser sends a single Zerg, and we finally finish that Adept off. Doesn't quite get the second one because there is that there, but at least forces the battery to be built, gets an Oracle to come home. Does keep their attention back there. Probably not fully worth it for 14 Zerglings. I think if he got in the base, it would have been super worth, just because then the Protoss players would be so busy chasing him around. Now, a laser's down on 47 workers, Serral on 61. I think it's totally fine as the Zergling player to be like that. Oh, his spores aren't ready. 5 Oracles come in. Oh my gosh. It's essentially a 2 Stargate Oracle play just by both of you continually building Oracles. I didn't even think about this. And then one of them, Trigger, is going to go Skytoss. He's going to go 3 Stargate Fleet Beacon while Showtime makes the ground transition. Okay, I totally take it back. This is a great opening. Oracles are imbalanced, guys. And it was a great choice. It was a really good choice to go for this both go a single Stargate. I think this is actually really nice, just because it's dawning on me how pairing them up can get out of control. And they haven't actually found that much damage, don't get me wrong, but it still feels like the Zergs are like having to build so many spores, and it's not like a laser's income's up that fast or anything like that. A laser does have 3 mineral lines, so even though he's only on 52 workers, like, remember, it's just his gas income that's slow this game, guys. His mineral income is just as good as Serral's right now. And mineral income is your basis, right? For everything else. It's your foundation. Showtime's Oracle's flying through. There's already Hydras here, though, which makes this very scary. That Queen can move to the right side. Make it hard to leave this base. Oh, those Hydras not quite getting there in time. Only a single Hydra shot does get off. I think there's 3 Queens up there. Hydra's moving here as well. Showtime trying to get out. Queens are in position. Oh, 1 Oracle goes down. Another Oracle's going to go down, maybe. Oh, it does! It's 2 Oracles down. Beautiful play. Really well done by the Zergs. And look at this. Because they're in control, a laser's droning. He's going up above 70 workers. He's building a Spire. So he's going to go corrupt a Zergling. And that's perfect because there's already 3 carriers on the way. Do the Zergs know about this, guys? Yes, they do. They've overseer scouted. They've seen the carrier production. They know what they have to do. So I wouldn't be surprised if a laser builds armor upgrades just to tank. He could go attack. I normally go attack, then armor, because I still think just killing the carriers as quickly as possible is important. But remember, armor is very important against these air attack upgrades of the carriers. This should have 1,000 shields and 1,000 hit points as well, and the shields regen. That would be cool. That would be a bit more thematic with this cool kind of green shield graphic on it. All right. Right now, guys, let's do a worker check. 167 workers for the Zerg players. 143 for the Protoss. So Zergs have a very healthy worker lead, but Protoss are already into Storm Immortal pretty heavily. And carriers as well. Now the Corruptors aren't here. 12 Corruptors and air armor is on the way. Serral's like, a laser, get up here, bro. I need help defending my 4th base. And lasers, Corruptors, the thing is, if they catch these carriers, super worth losing a few drones and a bit of mining time. Trigger going to focus fire a few of these drones. Oof, they went back to mining a little early. The Hydras, though, now able to deflect these interceptors. Trigger needs to get out. Trigger's not watching. Oh, gosh. Okay. Does recall now, but he's going to take a lot of damage on that carrier. Meanwhile, southwest side, we do have the, I don't know why, I normally just say bottom left. We'll stick to bottom left, people who don't know compass things. Cardinal directions, I guess they're called. Immortal Storm push down here is very cute. There are 19 Hydras on the map. If they can get a Ling wrap around as well, oh, he's gone too deep. No Archon or Zealot support. Showtime should not have been pushing in there. And that was a huge mistake. No support to deal with the Zerglings. Storm is good against Zerglings, but it won't stop them on its own. You need Archon Zealot in there to stop them running in like that. And now, oh me, oh my, they have overextended. Oracle's getting sniped. Corruptor's getting sniped. A laser. Oh, he's been the punching bag for this whole series so far. And now he gets to run in there and just click on some Corruptors with his Corruptor. Click on some carriers, sorry, with his Corruptor mass. It does find one more. The Mothership's not even in range. Hydra Lurker denying this base. Only 2 carriers survive, and of course on 79 workers for a laser, 91 for Serral. They are happy to take these trades. They've denied a base here. 6 bases for the Protoss players. Meanwhile, Serral's on 5, a laser's on 4. So that is 9 against 6, a 3 base advantage. And Serral says, I'm going to go take down the back rock, so you can keep distracting them if you want. But of course, the laser can't really stand and fight, guys. He's going Hive now, so we can go into Ultras, you can go to Adrenal Glands. He's adding slowly more air upgrades as he keeps putting Ling Corruptor. But Serral's max. He's on Hydra Lurker, and he's like, yep, just want to open up a new front. Attack multiple areas. These Corruptors, they find those carriers, it'd be good. They don't know they're there. Like, he could dive, though. There's no Storm here, and those Corruptors will dive. It's not even that many Corruptors, but it doesn't matter. Oh, no Overseer. He's got to get out. He's going to go for the Mothership. That's a crazy choice. Laser does think better of it and starts to back away, but the Hydras have already ransacked this expansion. And here come the Overseers finally. Oh, with the Overseers, I think he can fight. And those Interceptors going a bit too far forward on their own and do get mostly picked off. They actually let the base survive. Nidus Worm does go down. I guess it's because Showtime was going for a counterattack, but there's 3 Lurkers down there. I'm surprised they let the base survive. Serral and a laser playing incredibly carefully right now. I think if Showtime didn't shove in with that army, they would have been fine. They would have been fine. They'd be able to establish this base previously. But because I think Showtime's overextension was a huge mistake, because once you don't have enough Storm and Archon defending the carriers are so vulnerable to the Corruptors, right? You need all these pieces together. If you have all the pieces together, the Zerg units are worse on paper than the Protoss units. Look at that. +3 attack is on the way for Trigger. Really nice upgrading for him. Carriers can fight these Hydras on their own. I do believe they can do that. He's just afraid of the Corruptors showing up. Nexus goes down. The Hydras do have the lunge ability. Showtime needs to give a few High Templar to Trigger. They should share unit control, and he should send a few High Templar to Trigger's army. Because Trigger needs Storm. Yeah, look, he's doing it now. I'm like, they should have done this like a minute ago, but obviously there's been a lot of chaos. He's going to say, okay, you can have 2 full high energy Templar to deal with those Hydras. But look at this, they're so out of position. The bottom left side. Oh no, they just don't have any map control. And Serral's going to push in, gets rid of the stasis trap. Lurker, Hydra will take out those cannons. Even that Lurker surviving on like 1 hit point. Got Ling counters up north as well. New Nidus Worm comes in from that side. Serral and a laser's movement will not be stopped. Ling's in the mineral line. Trigger's trying to get out of there. Ooh, that's so scary. Meanwhile, down south, Mothership carrier trying to evacuate. It looks like there's 9 carriers there. Mothership gets one shot. Yes, the storms are good on the Corruptors, but they take out the Mothership, a few carriers, and they do quickly fade away. Meanwhile, main base, Zealot's trying to warp in to deal with those Zerglings that got inside. You've got 6 base. And now a laser. Serral's on 6. A laser's also going to 6 bases. 12 bases to 6. Double the base count. Maxed out armies permanently. Protoss still have a scary army size, especially Showtime with the ground. But the carrier force just keeps on getting whittled down. Another carrier bites the dust. Another one getting very low. It goes down. Not much Storm or Arc wants to cover it. That Storm comes in way too late. Showtime able to bust through the Lurker Concave. But it's going to be expensive. He used a lot of Immortals to do that. And the Lings reach their base at the same time. The Remax so quick. 31 Hydras in production there for Serral. The Lings do find a base snipe over here. There's still so many Corruptors to deal with the air army. So if you don't have enough Storm, the Corruptors actually, I think, could just dive this right now, honestly. Lings getting inside both bases. It looks like, I think Serral and Alaze are finding the damage they need. Burrowing Zerglings everywhere as well. Oh, being so annoying. So much damage. Adrenal's now finished. So these are +2 Adrenal Gland Zerglings. They do so much. And I think that's going to just tear them apart. Oh, Showtime pushing up this ramp was just a bit too much. Didn't expect guys who were dealing with such early carriers to have so much Hydra Ling, but Immortal and High Templar are actually way more vulnerable than you think. Against the Roach army, they can push a lot deeper, but against the Zergling Hydra army, it's a bit too mobile. Trigger's going to tap out there, and Serral and a laser get a point on the board. All right, guys, going to the next one. It is going to be 1-2 now. Still in favor of the Protoss boys as they move down. We're playing Emerald City, a classic map. Okay, this is a map we've seen many, many times. Now, Showtime's going to go across to block. I feel like if you have 2 players blocking, it's even better. But I guess Serral goes for the 15 hatchery again. 16 hatchery is going to be a bit too late. A laser has to go take the 3rd. Yeah. So he just goes and takes the front 3rd. Says, yeah, no was mate. No was Takes the hatchery up there. Gateway's going down. Showtime walls the left. Trigger walls the right. One of the earlier maps we played, either map 1 or map 2. I think it was map 1. It's kind of similar in that the players did a separate wall off. I wonder if we're going to see the... I really feel like the Oracle blink timing was such a good build. I'd love to see them do that again. I think that's such a hard build to get the timing down to defend when the Oracle player rocks up with 6 Adepts, 4 Oracles like Showtime did, and Trigger's like, oh, I have 10 Blink Stalkers at your base at 5 minutes as well. Like, that's such a nasty attack to deal with, man. The chat was saying, when is there going to be a Pro 4v4 tournament? Astromath said the machines need to support it. That is a good point. 4v4s do get laggy as hell when the fights get really big. Hey guys, yeah, we're casting a replay from the Uthermal 2v2 tournament. It's the $15,000 main circuit. Dude, apparently there's some really fun games. People told me this was a really fun series, so I wanted to check this one out. And yeah, I was like, why did these idiots pick Zerg Protoss? Turns out I'm the dummy, as the players did get randomly matched based on their seeding, which is kind of a cool way of shaking things up, breaking the teams apart as the tournament goes on and seeing how adaptable everyone is to playing with different teammates. It is so funny, yeah. I was like, man, there's part of me that's like, oh, surely you off-race, but I think they just figure at this skill level, they're like, oh, we're so much better at playing Protoss or Zerg than we are with our off-races. Screw it. I think like a Clem or a Rainer would definitely, if they got like, you know, double Zerg or double Terran, they'd just be like, oh, I'll just play Protoss or, you know, play Zerg, switch it up a bit. All right, Probe gets pushed back. We got Stargate Twilight again. Yeah, it's the Stargate Twilight build. This build's so hard to deal with. A laser's going to go super fast melee this game. Like, crazy fast. Wow. And Serral gets the safe 3rd. A laser's going to take the 3rd out there because he's the more mobile Zergling-focused player. It's more important for Serral's economy to be a bit more protected and nestled. So remember, guys, a laser is probably going to be the guy with less economy. And if things go awry for them, he's going to be relying on Serral to carry for him. That's specifically because his job is to take the brunt of any early harassment and deal with it, while Serral is being a greedy boy. Adepts on the high ground. I don't think they can quite... He's seeing if he can reach the drones. Maybe from there. Ling's speed, not quite ready. A laser wants that surround. Oh, doesn't quite get him. Almost gets the Adept, but not quite. The Adepts will pull out of there. Oracle number 1 is on the way. Blink on the way for Trigger. He does go for a Robo pretty early, as well as a second gateway. Would expect a few more gateways after that as well. For the Zergs, a laser. What's his work account? Let's check. So we've got 66 workers for the Zerg, 71 for the Protoss. Protoss a little bit ahead on the workers, but pretty close to even. +1 melee is going to finish so early, so he's literally going to have +1 ready for that 5-minute timing, which is super cool. And like I said, if he can be a bit more counterattack focused and try to like threaten the wall-offs, you know, attack these guys, force warp-ins, threaten the thirds, deny the thirds, and just keep the attention away from just the front. When this pressure comes, that could be really effective. 4 gateways going, so Trigger's going 5-gate blink right now. Showtime, building his third Oracle and his second gateway. Yeah, this looks pretty much identical to that earlier game. Oracle goes in, doesn't find any damage there. Overlord is going to see an extra gateway for Showtime. Is Serral? Oh, he's going to see the Stargate. Look at this. He sees the Stargate. He knows, okay, yep, you're building Oracles. Just got a good idea of everything that's going on. Stasis Trap comes in for Showtime. Goes a little too close to the sun. Sporecrawler pushes him away. Oh, a laser doesn't go for the third base. He lets Serral take the third on the right side. A laser takes the third on the gold. Incredibly risky. And I think they need to start making units. Guys, Serral doesn't have a Roach Horn, right? I don't see a Roach Horn. Serral's going straight Hydras. Oh my lord. Serral is trying to play straight Hydras. Oh my god, the greed. Oracles do dive in right here, guys. They take a lot of damage. They kill a queen, but they get a lot of damage. Ling's overwhelming that third base. I love the way Laser's counter-pressuring right now. I love the way he's counter-pressuring. It looks like 4 drones went down to the Oracles. Only 4 drones. That's totally acceptable. Oh, the pylon goes down. Adept warp-in gets cancelled. That third Nexus is in jeopardy. A Laser can give up his gold base. As long as he denies the Protoss third, he is happy for that, but I don't think he's going to be able to. The Oracles come back. They get energy recharged. These Ling's going to try to run in the base, though. A laser cancels the third. Perfectly done. The problem here right now is just Serral's being too greedy. Skipping a Roach Horn is insane. Like, if you get away with it, sure, that's great, but you need to rush your lair. It's 5.5 minutes. He's just now started his first Hydras. The greed is ridiculous here out of Serral and a laser. Yes, they had a pretty good scout, but damn, man, they gotta really stay on top of it. Ling's gonna run in here. Remember, these are +1 melee Lings. Good reaction by Trigger, but even better reaction by a laser, not standing and fighting. 14 Hydras about to pop out. If they can save this front base, then I think Serral and a laser are in a good spot. The greed may pull off. Then again, a laser's economy, only 37 workers, but Trigger's is only 43. So, hey, it's low economy on both sides. Ling's having to set off these stasis traps. Good micro by a laser to keep on setting off these stasis traps with just a few Zerglings here, there, and everywhere. With no range upgrade on the Hydras, it's really tough to take this fight. Oracles turn on their laser beams, but the Hydra Queen does push them back. The Oracle's gonna have to back away, and I think Trigger may have to disengage. It's a lot of Hydras. And whenever those Hydras are standing and shooting, it's really big. Groove's Blinds is about to kick in. That's going to give them +1 range as well. At least he's got a new base going up north. Serral has a 4th, but he hasn't been able to drone it at all. Worker check, guys. 100 workers for the Zerg team, 110 for the Protoss. Protoss lead on the economy right now, but Trigger did take some big damage. Doesn't have a third base building right now. If Trigger can get a third up behind this, it'll be a-okay. A laser, if he can keep Ling counterattacking, it could be massive. This base over here only has an Immortal and a battery at it. The other third base has nothing except a single Reddit point Adept. I love that a laser's going around for the counters. That's what you got to do with the Zergling style. And he's doing it really well. Serral holding the line with the Hydras. He's got Overseers here. He's got to be careful. Don't walk into those stasis traps. Here we go. Ling's going to go for the counter and deny. Trigger wasn't even starting a third. It's like he's kind of all in here. Showtime building 6 more gateways as we speak. Lings are going to force a Stalker Warp in the wall off. Trigger will be able to hold the wall off for now, but he needs a bit more damage there. Ling Hydra still trying to defend on the front. Units lost up, of course, massively in favor of Protoss. They've lost just over 2,000. The Zerg have lost 5,000 resources. That's okay if the Zerg build a bigger economy, but right now, Serral's economy great. A laser's not got any room to breathe, and that's a big problem. The Ling Hydra, will it be able to overwhelm? Honestly, if the laser could get on top, that could be huge. But oh, his Ling's all derping right now. He does break down the cannon. Probes will start to potentially fall here. He's going to take out that pylon, and he will disengage, realizing the Protoss players have reacted. Right now, we have 23 Hydras on the map. They have muscular augments finished, and it's go time. Serral says, get away from my base, you dirty Protoss. Oh, stasis traps are still there, though. You've got to be wary of these stasis traps. It doesn't matter, though. He's got the numbers with the Lings as well, jumping on top. Trigger may have stayed a bit too close to the sun. Stayed a bit, strayed a bit, maybe strayed and then stayed. You know what I'm saying? Maybe both. Maybe it wasn't a misspeak, but it was a speaking good. Gooder than you guys even anticipated. Backseat commentating criticizers. Stalkers do get surrounded there. Good micro by Trigger. Where is Showtime's force? It's coming from the south. He doesn't have Storm just yet. Oh no, Trigger's gonna lose his third. brutal timing. And Serral, I think, wisely should be disengaging from this once they realize how many High Templar there are with Storm. But Serral's like, hey, I can kind of fight just that right side. And this is fantastic because drones coming in, Hive coming in behind for a laser. Serral's on 80 workers. If a laser can take 2 more bases, take some corner bases, and just drone for the next minute while Serral holds things down, that would be amazing. Problem, lurkers aren't here yet. The lurker den's almost there, but the upgrades haven't started, which means Serral is on mass Hydra for a little while against gigantic Protoss armies coming forwards. Essentially 2 base blink for Trigger, but we've got 5 Immortals, 5 High Templar for Showtime. Showtime, no Storm down here. Ling's going to take a nice little surround with the +2 melee on those Zealots. Don't know if that's super worth. It was okay, but it's going to try and pull back now. Hydra's trying to get back. A few lurkers are morphing. The laser gives up this hatchery. Storm is one hell of a drug, guys, and that's right now what Showtime and Trigger are high on. They've got a bunch of Storm, and they are relying on that to punch through before the lurkers are ready. First 2 lurkers almost finished morphing. They won't have range, but that will still severely help against this. Not much space to spread here for Serral. Dude, the Storms and the Immortals are going to smash through. But wait, he snipes the Observer. He snipes the Observer, which means there's only the Oracles for detection. Showtime needs to Revelate in order to get on top of those lurkers. Trigger trying to still dance on the front. Ling counter goes through. The Immortal tries to hold that choke point, but he does get surrounded. Good moves. I mean, a laser's got to keep countering with these Lings. He can't be fighting them head on. If a laser just sends his Lings across the map constantly, I think this is actually quite hard for Showtime and Trigger to keep up the offense. This wall's open, this base is open, this base only has 2 cannons, which means if you go into like 30, 40 Zerglings, you can take it down. A laser does have 50 Zerglings, and I think he's got to move out. I just don't think Lings help in a frontal engage anymore. Oh, look at that though. Trigger breaks the rocks, moves to the right side and says, a laser got your hatch. Much like a toddler who thinks their nose just got stolen, a laser is angry right now. He's like, how dare you steal it? That's my nose. That's my hatchery. Trigger laughing maniacally like Mr. Burns after taking a lollipop from a baby. And we'll see if Serral and a laser can fight back as good as Maggie Simpson can. Hydras and lurkers moving around. Lings are getting surrounds on the left. Both sides' economy is kind of shot right now. A laser's got this hatchery rebuilding, but he's a 2-base Zerg. Serral's still got an amazing income. Showtime's income is great on 4 bases. Trigger's just got his 3rd up. So Trigger and Showtime looking a little better as long as he can maintain that. And a laser's economy is super nasty. On the other hand, Serral, the king of lurkers, he's got lurkers and hydras all over the map. He's going to start splitting up and attacking different places. Storm will defend with the cannon zealot on this base. The laser's Ling's not able to find a way in there, and it feels like these Ling run bys are running into very well prepared Protoss players after those earlier games. Oh, Ling's still rotating. He could wrap around the army, right? If the Hydra Lurker jumps on top and your Ling's like trap him when he tries to blink away, that's an option. But right now, they're just forcing the Protoss players to split their forces up a lot more, and that in of itself can be very effective. Now, these Zealots guys don't have upgrades for Showtime. They've got +1. Oh, they do have +1, actually. If a laser's carapace finished, then it would be really good, because the upgrades suck right now for the Protoss side. Showtime has +1. Trigger doesn't have anything. He's just got his +1 on the way now, which means the Zerglings are very effective when they have equal armor to the attack upgrades of the Zealots. They take 3 shots rather than 2 to go down. Oh, he catches some High Templar, but my gosh, does take some big storms to the chin. Doesn't matter if the Hydras don't actually die though, right? If they just get heavily bruised, it's fine. Ling's gonna look to surround Trigger's force. Huge move. Huge move. Trigger has to blink to get out of the surround, but even more Lings are there as well. So many Stalkers going down. Serral tries to shove the ramp, eats some big storms. The Lurkers do get sieged. A bunch of them do get popped. The Lings will not be stopped. The Lings are just going for it. A laser says, revenge time. You guys may have been bullying me this whole game. It's my time to get some back. But of course, the laser's supply very bad behind it. He's building 11 drones. So a laser will finally macro up, and I think this is important. While they've got momentum, if he macros up, that's good, because Serral really can't go above 80 workers without ruining his attempt to build up army as well because of that supply cap. Nexus goes down in the bottom left. Lings do run into these Zealots, and with +1, those Zealots will do just fine. Prism gets deflected by Hydras in the main base. Serral's now encountering the Tempest. Oh gosh, he tries to focus the Observers, but one of them still lands. Not to mention the Revelation is there. Lings get a pretty good surround. A bunch of Immortals do fall. Bit of a crazy fight there. Lings on the right side. Skirmishing with Trigger. The Lurkers move forward though. Good pickups by Trigger. to get those Archons out of dodge. 3-2 upgrades coming in for Serral. He's also got the Spire, realizing, hey, I'm going to have to deal with the air on my own because Laser's not going to have the money. So Laser has re-droned the top right. He's got a hatchery here. I still think Laser needs to do more droning. He's at 57 right now. I love his activity rate, and I love that he's continuing to deny this bottom left side base. But Laser, if he could just squeeze in 10 or 15 more drones, it'd be a game changer. Maybe Serral could dump him some money. Serral with 2k minerals in the bank. Hydras come forward, do take out an Archon, gets a second Archon, pulls back to the safety of the Lurkers. The Lings, yes, there's defense there. Is it enough, though? Not if the Lings can kill those High Templar before Storms come down. Both High Templar go down. Mass Ling comes in from all sides. Beautiful attack right now for a Laser. The power of the plus 3-1 Adrenal Gland Zerglings. And they're going to take out the base as well. And that is the power of Zerglings if you don't have any Archons or Storms there, mate. Beautiful move for a Laser. 57 workers, all he needs, man. Economies for tryhards and cucks, says a Laser. I am neither of those. And therefore, I shall just kill you with 57 drone mass Zergling. Serral can handle the economy side of the game. And Hydra Lurker mauling them. It's kind of crazy, man, because I feel like this should not be that hard to defend. But because a Laser is just so active with his Zergling, Serral's always got his Lurker Hydra in 2-3 places. And Showtime and Trigger want to keep their whole army together. It kind of reminds me of like Serral versus Classic, where Classic always keeps his whole army together. And Serral just basically is elusive and just keeps denying bases and picking away at him and smashing his economy repeatedly and kind of slowly wears him down. That's kind of what's happening, but in a 2v2 environment where a Laser is doing such a good job with the Zerglings, the Lurker Hydra always threatening the actual proper pushes as well. And the Lings tear through this base. Serral finds the bottom left expansion and denies that one. And these Lings are relatively expendable units. I mean, maybe not, because the Laser's economy kind of sucks. Oh, here we go. Mass recall in the main. Sorry, guys, I missed that one. Mothership flew into the main. Recalls the army in the main right now. I was like, where is the army? Showtime is going to deny the Ultra Cav in the spawning pool and the Hive of a Laser. Oh, is this a winning move? Dude, trying to attack into this with Storm is making it so hard for the Zergs. A few more Storms here could be good. Cloak does go down. He's got to, of course, kill that Hive before he leaves this base. If you don't kill that Hive, that is a bit of a tragedy, Mr. Showtime. Trigger going to attack the left side as well, denying these two bases. Dude, fighting fire with recall. Trigger and a Laser are both down in the dumps at just above 100 supply. Serral and Showtime both close to max. Serral, of course, in a very healthy economic position. Showtime and Trigger don't have the same bank. The Zerg players have 6k unspent minerals right now, which is massive. Observer comes forward. Serral has to abandon that position. Does he not have adaptive talents? He does. Just doesn't make those Lurkers unburrow very quickly anymore, does it? Okay, Hydra's going to move up that right side. Can they get rid of the Warp Prism? There's a Spore Crawler there. Zealots will deny a few units. Another 4,000 Zerglings going to come in for a counter. Will the Storm be able to land? If that Storm lands, it could be big. Oh, where's the Storm? Trigger not storming! Dude, he didn't storm! Oh, no! Dude, oh, that's nasty. Does he not have Storm? Trigger doesn't have Storm. He doesn't have Storm, guys. The Lings do get inside after trading pretty well there. We've still got the Hive did go down. Showtime, of course, recalled his force out, guys, using the Nexus recall to escape the base. He's now going to push forward to the north and try to deny that top right economy, realizing that, yes, the Protoss players don't have a lot of economy right now, but neither do the Zergs. If they can deny the top right, the Zergs will be in trouble. Dude, that's a Tempest count. The Hydras do come forward with the lunge. Mothership uses Cloak, though. These Tempests can pick off these Lurkers and Hydras as they retreat. Trigger moves forward. He's got to be careful. He could get surrounded. Trigger might be a bit too cocky diving in. He knows they're on a timer because the Zergs have a lot more money coming in than them. And oh, Serral comes in from behind, but he's not watching. A little slow on the burrow. The Hydra Lurker going to do really well. The Ling's jumping on top as well. He doesn't have any Storm here, Trigger, so he can't defend this army just jumping on top. Same time, bottom left base just got denied by the Zerglings. Top right does get denied by Showtime. Showtime is denying their income as well, but it just feels like the income tab. Yeah, about 3,000 minerals to just about 2.5 right now. And I think that's going to drop even further for the Protoss as these third bases mine out. Zerg still has the top right. A Laser trying to retake there. The Ling's doing really well. Units lost tab. Let's check in there. 46,000 for Zerg. 47,000 for Protoss. The Zergling efficiency actually so good. But Showtime's army is the real problem. How do you ever deal with that army? I do not know. Serral's trying to build Corruptors. He's trying to play just a 1v1 against Showtime right now, essentially. While a Laser and Trigger are trapped in a 1v1 as well. One which they're both in the 80s. Very low in supply. 4 Archons, 26 kills, 1 kill, 0 kills, and 2 kills. That 26 kill Archon, of course, a menace to the Zergling count. All right, Tempests, Storms, 2 Lurkers going down already. Another great Storm. Oh, good, he's pushing deep. Overseer's taking big damage. Corruptors do come in. He does not really land any spells, though. I think a Parasitic Bomb may have landed at some point. I'm not quite sure, but really good defense by Showtime as he disengages away from the Viper Corruptor. Doesn't throw his army away, but a laser of Serral joins some Hydras up on the bottom side, and they deny yet another base. A laser loses the top right, though. Showtime doing excellently. Triggers up in the rally point. Trigger right now playing such a brave style, but brave sometimes is synonymous with suicidal, right? Those are two descriptions that are side by side at all times. Bravery and suicidalness usually adjacent in StarCraft 2, and he's got to watch out for the surround because a laser and Serral are coming in with it now. Ling, Hydra Lurker surround. It's hard to get out of here. The Hydras lunge forward. My golly. And Trigger has definitely overextended. He only gets a few of these units out of here as Serral chases him down, but at the same time, top right side, getting jumped on. Serral dives, gets a Tempest, but big storms land, and he loses another base. Serral still got bank, but he's just spent the last bank on more Hydras and more Corruptors. That's his last bank. He's got to use that to clean up this army. Showtime's army out of reinforcements at this point. Remember, Trigger and Showtime are about as broke as you possibly can be. A laser still has the gold base mining on that left side. Serral still has a few mineral patches over here. The Protoss guys are just mining their last patches on the third, and then Trigger got this new 4th base up, which is a bastion of Zerg defense right now. Serral, good micro on the Hydras, does pop an Archon. He's got to be careful as Showtime moves forward with the Storms. Showtime's army in the top right, still very hard to deal with. You can see the way Serral's trying to kind of surround this army. I'm not sure if this is going to work out. He's only really coming in from one side on the south and a few units on that top left, but he does get on top of those Tempests, which is nice. I think he thinks there's not enough Storm here. We'll find out. This is going to be a very, very brutal fight one way or the other, and it looks like it is brutal against Showtime for Serral as he does get on top, gets a lot of important units. Showtime recalls some valuable units. Trigger strikes the south side at the same time, but at the end of all that, Serral immediately rebuilds. A laser already thinking about rebuilding here as well. These new 4th bases coming up for Showtime and Trigger. Can they defend the counterwave? Army versus army looking severely outmatched. It's all about the power of Storm. And Showtime, he's got 7 High Templar, only 3 Tempests left. Oh, when it's PP time. Guys, Serral, he's been drinking Red Bulls all day apparently. It's time for him to unzip. He's got the Corruptors in the main base. He's a bit distracted right now as the Lurker Hydra does come in. He's going to take a wee on Trigger's Natural Nexus. Just remove some of that Chronobist and Probe rebuild ability. He's got Hydras over there as well. Trigger's out pushing the right side. Showtime's left side is in jeopardy. He's going to move his whole army down. Oh no! Probe's trying to run out. Archon Immortal. Hydras trying to dodge the storms. They're doing a great job. The Hydra Ling down here. Meanwhile, Serral's pushing into the production. But it's going to be messy. Trigger counterattacking, not letting him focus on just one thing at a time. Serral and a laser have to evacuate the south side, but they're going to continue pushing the north. Zealots over here on the right pushing in there as well. Dude. Hydra's running around. Oh, man, the Zealots. Okay, they're going to take out the hatchery. These Zealots can go after that hatchery. Serral's got position up here. Trigger's got the Archon Ball, man. Oh, that Archon Ball. Can't deal with that until you got a critical mass of Ling Lurker. Zerglings are here. They can deal with the Zealots at least. Hydra Lurker's going to clear the production. You got to be careful about getting trapped, though. Does Serral still have a Nidus Worm up? He does. He could use a Nidus to evacuate, which is really useful. The Ling's looking for these Zealots. They're going to find them. Remember, 3-1. And these Trigger Zealots only have +1. So they don't even... They take 3 shots to kill the Zerglings, which is really bad. Hydra Lurker gonna get caught here. This is what I was saying. He should evacuate this army with Nidus Worm. Oh, I think Serral stayed a bit too long there. But if the army chases, they could deny this base down here. Corruptors come in. Serral unzips his fly. Oh, much like Finnish fans after a long day swilling beer at a football match, it's time to unzip, and he does end up just unloading on that Nexus. Using the Protoss base as a public urinal, Zerg's favorite pastime. Hydra's going to take out a bunch of Archons and High Templar in the main, just making it so hard to deal with these last little Hydras. They finally go down. The evacuation Nidus Worm pops up, but there's nothing left to evacuate. Does it matter, though, as a laser and Serral do a lot of damage, but man, they're losing a lot of units. And remember, their income's pretty low right now, but Okay, there's a base backup mining here. Serral's got a fresh base. A laser's got a fresh base. Okay, 2 fresh bases coming up. Meanwhile, Trigger and Showtime only have 1 base really mining right now, and another one that comes up in about 40 seconds. So if they can defend this counterattack, it's amazing for Serral. But these Archons, they've caused such a ruckus, dude. So much damage. There's that one Archon from earlier. He's on 39 kills, but he's exposed. 39 kill Archon. He's the one at the back there. He does escape to live another day. Damn, to live and fight another day. Oh, double up dark. The Viper says, get over here. Those 2 Archons go down. Corruptors come in and find that only mining base of Protoss. That's the problem, man. These Corruptors in this low economy situation, they don't really have anything else to do. So it's just this constant squad of urinal assassination, man. These Archons in the middle. Trigger's trying to stay active, but it's 3 Archons, 2 Zealots. What is there? 1 High Templar, 3 Tempests, and 9 Zealots for Showtime. Can you even call this an army anymore? The Corruptors say, not one that we have to respect, that's for sure. Take down 2 of the Tempests with only 1 Tempest left. Don't really need to care too much about that. And it looks like they are going to push through the middle and take it. Damn, dude, a laser. Says, rebuilding your economy is for cucks and tryhards. Building over 900 Zerglings, though? That's a winning play. And you know what? I talked about how if they do this Blink Oracle pressure again, you need to be more active with the Ling counters. A laser took that to heart. He just did nothing but Ling counters all game long and did so bloody well. GG, well played. That was a fun one. Serral and Showtime both on big economies the whole game. Trigger and a laser on low income. It looked like the Zergs had control, but then the recall came into the main and did really well to get some damage done. But at the end of the day, the Protoss just could not keep expansions up against the onslaught of Hydraling. Really well played, ties up the series 2-2. All right, guys. Are there any surprises in store? I'd love to see an all-in or some crazy switch-up. But I have a feeling Serral down here and a laser here are going to once again both do an extractor trick. The difference being that Serral is going to go straight for a hatchery, whereas I think a laser will build an overlord. So keep an eye on it. 100 minerals for a laser, builds an overlord. Serral does not. Identical openings. All right, they figured out their MO, and they've also withstood the Protoss assault in the last 2 games. Can they do it again? And likewise, do the Protoss players go back to Glaive Adept? Do they go back to the, the blink pressure maybe from one player, oracles with the other, like in that last game? We'll see how it goes. The laser's going to have to go take a third out front. Oh, that's a friggin' bad third base, man. That's so exposed. Oh, this map, yeah. I mean, I guess he's leaving this base down here for Serral? But I feel like expanding to the middle like that is setting yourself up for disaster. I feel like this base here or this base down here are both better options, but this middle base, oof. A laser, very brave, guys. He's going to go for a gas behind that, and no doubt a spawning pool up next when he hits 200 minerals. Serral, of course, has gone hatch pool with a 15-15. Top right side, Showtime and Trigger. Trigger does not have wall off duty. It's all on Showtime, who's going to wall off a very easy, narrow choke point. But there's a second area up here, which they're not walling. That's kind of crazy. I imagine Trigger will put his second pylon here, and they'll wall off that side. Because they are right now leaving that top side of Yellow Jackets open. Guys, this map's called Yellow Jackets, and I love that they put a little decal of a Yellow Jacket wasp here in the middle of the map. Very cool. I had to Google it when I loaded the map up before. Oh, we've also got little kind of like honeycomb symbols on the map. Oh, this is, I like this. This is a very cute design for this map. It's also just got kind of yellow fog around the outside of the map. I bought a dozen bees from a local farmer and he gave me 13. When I brought it to his attention, he said not to worry, it was a freebie. That's so dumb. Twitch chat's on fire. It's a freebie. Oh, it's so stupid. Love it. Love it. All right, yeah, so Showtime. Oh, Showtime's got a wall off both. Guys, how lazy is Trigger? Look at this guy. He's making Showtime wall off 2 entrances. Oh, Trigger. Dude, look at this privilege. He's like, Showtime, your name is literally the wall. Like, your nickname is Demour, the wall. You get to build both walls. I'm just going to be greedy. Nice. All right, Adept's going to move in there. Another Adept behind, but it's a bit later. It looks like Trigger did not chrono boost the Adept, I don't think. Oh, nice surround with the Spore Crawler and the Lings there. The Adept's going to get into the backside. We'll escape the most dangerous part. Trigger's going to do a safety shade. I like that. Safety shade's a very good move. So you shade backwards, and you just run as far as you can get before the shade carries you back out of danger. Ling speed's almost done for a laser. Serral, guys, is just droning. He's got that first gas guys about to come up. And it is going to be a Void Ray for Showtime this time. Okay, little bit of a change up. I think it's still going to be Void Ray into Oracle. I think he just wants to get rid of the Overlords. And he doesn't know about this one right here, though. So we'll see if Serral... If I was Serral, I'd probably try to send this Overlord away. But he's just like, yeah, let's just see what I can. I think he's like, let's sacrifice the Overlord. And I'll just see if he builds an Oracle next and kind of get what vision I can. Of course, we can see it is an Oracle, as expected, coming out behind that. Serral could see that as well. This Overlord's going to try and hide up here. This is a really good hiding spot. You go as close to the gas as possible without it seeing you. Because often the Void Ray will think you've run to the left side, but no. Showtime checks everything, finds it easily. Is a Robo coming up behind? Blink is almost halfway finished as the Oracles are coming out. 2 hatcheries building right now for a laser. So he's going 4 hatchery, and you might be wondering why is he doing that? He wants the production guys. Now, interestingly, he's not gone for the fast melee this game. He's going to try to actually have more production and income up. Allows him to build more Zerglings, even though they don't have the +1 attack, and build more drones behind it in between those waves, which is really cool. Unfortunately for him, he's only at 36 drones, just 2 mineral lines. I guess because he's had to build 3 spore crawlers here against the threat of the incoming Void Ray. I think he could have skimped on that. I mean, the Oracle is out. I think he could have maybe delayed one, but I guess these hatcheries are so spread. He's only got 2 queens. He can't really. Droning up now is a laser. We've got 86 workers for Protoss, 100 workers for Zerg. So Zerg is ahead on that economic momentum this game, but can they deal with the incoming blink pressure? Because once again, we're going to be looking at 6 gate blink, 3 oracles and a Void Ray, 5 adepts, stalkers, prism. Where's the roaches? He's trying to go hydras again. Serral's trying to rush hydras again. The greed is ridiculous. And this hatchery I talked about, so vulnerable. There's no way they can defend this. If the Lings were counterattacking, maybe, but not. There's a shield battery and 4 adepts, so even if the Lings counterattack, there's not really a way in. All they could do is threaten the wall-offs. Oracles do spot the high ground, allowing the Stalkers to take down the Overlord up there. Queen's on the front, transfuse, a little bit slow there. Serral and a Laser's Queen starting to take big damage to these Stalkers. Hydras are now building, Groove Spines is on the way. I mean, if you get away with it, you don't even lose this hatchery, they're in a great spot. Remember, they did lose the front hatchery last game, I believe, while going for it, but it was like the 4th base that was building. It wasn't one that was already mining. Queen's trying to pull back right now as well. The Hydras are going to start to pop. 9 Hydras building. Serral's gone back to droning. That is absolute nonsense. Serral's on 63 workers right now. Trying to drone right now is absolute madness. Serral being way too greedy, thinking they've held this. They should have given this base up, but now they've tried to fight. They've bled out all their Zerglings, so the Hydras are popping, but there's almost no Lings left. Hydras coming forward now. Hatchery might be able to be saved, actually. Wait, can they save this hatchery? No way. The Void Ray putting out a lot of damage. Queens do get south, and with the Spore Crawler, they should be able to push back the Void Ray, but that's only if he's confident engaging, which into the Stasis Traps they are not. There's a lot of Stasis Traps spread. Hatchery goes down. A Laser's back to 3 base on 41 drones. Serral's on 66 workers. He's got a lot of Hydras. He's got Muscular Augments. He's trying to make that infestation, but he's thinking about the next step. But he's got to deal with these Stalkers, and he cannot lose this northern base. They have to jump on it. They cannot let these Stalkers just play with them. Trigger being very dangerous with his moves. I think that's good for him to disengage away from this ramp. If he goes on creep, he's kind of screwed. Hydra Ling's going to engage right now. Remember, there's no augments for these Hydras, but do they necessarily need it? Maybe, maybe not. Ling speed's on the way for Serral as well. Going to round out his stuff. A Laser took a beating. He's going to need to drop 2 hatcheries very quickly. If a Laser can quickly send drones up to those corners and re-expand, I think once they've got map control with the Hydras, there's like a lull in the Protoss pressure. Yes, Trigger's still annoying with his Stalkers, but it's no longer a big threat. Problem is that the Lings got pinned at home, which meant this base is getting up for free, but a Laser's quick to realize and he's going in that direction. He's still expanding to this crappy base at the front. I'd love to see a Laser take the top left, but oh no, Serral's going to lose his 4th! Trigger out positioning them! Oh, they're not going to be happy with that. But at the same time, Trigger does lose his 3rd base. So this is not free, man. Trigger loses his 3rd. He's still 2 base. And the door's wide open. D-Mauer not doing his job. D-Mauer more like wide open Mauer. More like gaping Mauer. Oh my god. He lets him in the base. The Ling's doing some pretty good damage. But wait, they're not going to be able to escape. They can at least get 1 or 2 High Templar. Oh, they get 1 High Templar only. The Zealot Warping in the main is pretty good. Oracles trying to turn on their lasers. Trigger's like, what the hell, bro? It was your job to hold the wall, man. Ling's still in the main. I think they didn't take too much economic damage. That could have been a lot worse. Like 7 probes in total have gone down for Trigger. It's the denial on the 3rd and the delay on it that really hurts. Serral's Hydra's a bit exposed out here. Serral's got to pull these boys back. There's lings coming from the south, a lot of them. This is a bit deep for Trigger. Trigger does go a bit too far forward. He's going to lose a few of these Stalkers. Oh, Stormies. Pull back. Big Hydras, big Hydra Storms, big Hydra Storms. Serral's got an army in the bottom right as well. He wants to deny this base. I love the way Serral and Elazer spread their Hydraling across the map. Finally, +1 melees finished, +2 melees on the way. And already Lurker ranges on the way, as well as some Evo Chamber upgrades for Serral. As Serral did not go early upgrades. He's just now starting +1. Remember, last game, Trigger and Showtime had bad upgrades. This time, they are working on them, at least at this point, to try and catch up after those delayed upgrades start. Ling's going to go in on the right side. They're going to deny that Nexus at the same time. The Stalker count's pretty good, but look at this Hydra Lings around on the Stalkers. The Hydras in the top left getting ransacked by Showtime Zealots, though, which is a problem. There's still a Storm in the back. Dude, are they getting overwhelmed? Oracles fly over. The Storm ends up landing only on his own Stalkers, which is kind of funny. Lings do reinforce here. Where are the rest of the Lings? They're coming in from behind. But the Zealots with the attack upgrades doing really well. Showtime and Trigger committing right now. Sensing a moment of weakness. There's only one Psy Storm ticking over right now. Hydra's coming in from both sides, but no upgrades for these Hydras in terms of attack and armor. The High Templar count's getting very low, but there's so many Zealots. Is there enough Ling Hydra? Elazer's supply is almost non-existent. Serral's still at 150 supply somehow, but Elazer, because he's on Zergling duty. Zergling players just don't have a lot of supply generally, but especially their ability to help in these big frontal fights is just somewhat limited. And we're seeing he's good at run-bys, he's good at dancing around the back. Those Lings, that's their job. But when it comes to a frontal fight, Serral is kind of left on his own a little bit with a little bit of Zergling support. The Zerglings have been so good at the run-bys, but look at this. The fact that they've done enough pressure, Trigger and Showtime, to stop those Lings countering. And that's what Elazer needs to do. I think Serral's kind of like, dude, you need to help. But honestly, the best help that you can do is actually defending. Oh no, Serral flanks with some Hydras. Big mistake there. Big mistake. These Lings need to counter. If these Lings can deny Trigger's third, deny Showtime's fourth, you guys can hang in here. Serral's got a fourth mining and a fifth up, but now they've lost track of the enemy army. Ooh, Trigger does recall a lot of units, and I think Serral will be able to defend his fourth, which is really important. Okay. Elazer's got the top left tower. Serral's got the bottom right. Oh, Ling wraparound. Oh, Ling wraparound. Oh no, Trigger. He's going to lose his Immortals. He might lose a bunch of Stalkers as well, but Showtime says, let's fight fire with fire. You take our army, I'm going to take your bases. There's no detection here. There's an Observer just there, and Oracle's right there. There we go. Oracle Revelation comes in. Lurkers get absolutely rinsed. The Lurkers going down. Very expensive units to be losing. Ling counter can't find an opening. This base also defended on that right side. Dude, Showtime. It's the same pattern. Serral gets a good army. Showtime gets an even better one. And then it's Elazer and Trigger are both trapped down in the dumps with like a 2-base blink against 3-base mass Zergling. In this case, 3-base blink, 3-base mass Zergling. The Hydra's doing really well against this army with the Zergling surround as well. But when those Stalkers rejoin with the Psystorm of Showtime, that's where the Hydraling starts to struggle. There's a good Lurker spready though. Beautiful positioning. Dude, the map control with these Lurkers is amazing for Serral, but the northern Lurkers mostly get cleaned up. There's only one of them still attacking, and one Lurker, as you can see, doesn't do all that much damage. Massling hits the right side. Beautiful counter for Elazer. He's got to stay active. He's got to keep hitting these edge bases. That's his job. The Lings just aren't going to do much into the Storm Zealot here, especially not now that we've got attack upgrades finished for both players. These Zealots are going to be good. Recall does happen. It looks like they are able to defend that side, but a bunch of cannons go down as well as 1 or 2 Archons. Units lost tab. 26,000 for the Zerg team, 20,000 for the Protoss team. So that is pretty good efficiency for the Protoss players, and overall supply count is looking up about 30 for Team Protoss right now, but the mobility of Serral and Elazer has been absolutely incredible. If they could get Lings on this northern base, that'd be good, but you can just see that Trigger and Showtime are realizing, look, fight for map control and be ready to anticipate those counters. Those Ling run-bys are the problem. If we can control the middle of the map and not lose our edge bases, we'll be in a good spot. Showtime gets in. Oh, he minces those drones. I didn't realize we were playing the arcade game Aya Chef right now, but apparently Showtime is, as he chops these Zerg into tiny little pieces. He's making some Zerg sushi right now. Hydraling coming in. He could go for the wraparound, but there's a lot of Storm and Archon. I think the Lings would just get smashed. Trigger denies a base on the left side. I love that Trigger is so active with an army that could best be described as garbage, but he just keeps sniping bases in these games. Like Trigger using his mobility and using the fact that Showtime's a problem. You guys have to bring most of your army to deal with Showtime, and then I dart in, snipe bases, and dart out, and that is so well done. Zealots jumping on top of the Hydra Ling, seeing what they can do. Ling's going to go to the top left and keep that tower control. Finally, we've got Frenzy coming in for Serral. He needed that upgrade a while ago. Lurkers get a decent volley off. Doesn't do too much damage, as Showtime's on point with his reactions. Ooh, Ling Lurker moving in on this side, but nothing to deal with the Observer. Oh, double Immortal Surround. Very good. Very good cleanup. There is a decent Immortal count on this map, which is why Ultras wouldn't be too effective. Of course, the laser's only on 43 drones. Trigger on 50. These guys are down in the dumps. It's all about Showtime against Serral. Oh, them storms. Ow, the Hydras. Those flanking storms from the north just did big damage. But if Serral can get on that base, this might be worth the cost of eating those storms. If Serral can deny that base, this might be worth it. These Ling Lurker, if they can rotate north as well, but you can see the whole Protoss army's coming south now. The whole Protoss army's coming down here. He's going to try to jump on top of this Lurker positioning. There might not be enough Hydras and Lurkers to hold. The Lurkers try to unburrow and run away, but they're blocked by the Hydras. They're getting jumped on. That's bad. But look at this. Great counters up north. Ling Lurker. Oh, the recall, though. Look at me. I teleport. Look at me. I can use magic to move around the map. I'm a Protoss player. Sorry, guys. Just had to share the voice chat communications between Serral and Elazer there, as they talk about how fair and balanced recall is. To be fair, guys, Trigger and Showtime, I think they're all over it. If they do lose both northern bases, but it's just, even with recalling half their army, they've killed so many bases in the south side. Their supply is monumental, 260 Protoss supply. Yes, they just lost a lot of economy, almost all of their economy, to be fair. And another base snipe there from Mr. Elazer with the +3 Adrenal Zerg. Dude, his Adrenal Lings have been so good this game. But Showtime and Trigger just have such big armies, and you've got to deal with the army at some point. There's 11 Lurkers. The big problem is there's lots of wide open areas on this map. I think if Serral can get like 20 Lurkers together, yeah, he can smash these armies, but he's trying to have to spread out and create the pressure, and Showtime and Trigger have been very good at picking their moments to go, oh, there's only 7 or 8 Lurkers here, there's only 2 or 3 Lurkers here, I can just, you know, mow right through it. And if you clump them all together, they just avoid that area. So Serral kind of has to spread out and flexibly move his army around. But look at the way they're sandwiching him in from both sides. Oh, he's going to come in with a giant Archon flank. Crazy Archon sandwich. Trigger from the left, Showtime from the right. Oh my golly, that was a beautiful engagement. Dude, syncing up and having the confidence to push in there, using the revelations and the observers to know they could do it. Beautiful moves, and that's going to seal the deal. Trigger gets the top left base. Elazer's Ling Run buys will not be enough. Archon sandwich, dude. Yum, 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 yum. Units lost time, 54,000, 55,000, I should say, for the Zerg, and about 41,000 for the Protoss. Really well played, dudes. You know, it's funny because I think pre-energy recharge, the Protoss players would be so vulnerable to like Zerg all-ins, but with energy recharge, I'm not sure if like the dual Zerg attacks would have found openings. Because just thinking about like the theory crafting here, I would always think Zerg's a little bit more lethal, Protoss is a bit more vulnerable, but I think they did a really good job of just pairing their openings up. You play Blink, we play Oracle, this being I think the biggest problem opening in the series, and you just get such a fast, like, look at this, just past 5 minutes. You've got friggin' 9 Stalkers, 2 Oracles on the front. And this is with your third defended. Look, there's Adepts in each wall-off. 4 Adepts and a battery on the base as well. There's a Void Ray out that comes in and joins up with this as well. Look, the Void Ray comes in and denies this hatchery when the push was starting. I didn't even catch that before. This is really tough to deal with for the Zerg players. But I do think Serral was a bit too greedy. I have to be honest. I mean, I get he's going fast. Hydras? I think if he could have got his lair up a little bit earlier and into Hydras just a little bit faster, Elazer could have had all these Lings just denying 4th and 3rd base attempts, and he could have droned this base, droned this hatchery, and I do think Elazer should have been expanding a bit more to the corners to really utilize their mobility. I feel like as the Zergs here, you want to be expanding away from the Protoss players around the edges and using as much of this kind of counter around the flanks as possible. And then once Serral gets the Hydra Lurker army out as well, he's split pushing both sides. So I do think expand to the edges more would be the one thing I'd love to see if there was a rematch of this from the Zergs. I also think you just kind of make sure that Serral is willing to rush that lair a little bit quicker. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's playing a super greedy build. His gas is so late. I think he's building it with his first 100 gas. I don't know if he just takes the gas a bit quicker to do that or how you could do it, because check this out, guys. He's at 100 gas now, and the lair... Within like 10 seconds of him getting 100 gas, he started the lair. So he would need to literally like speed that up, you know? He did actually build a Roach Warren, but then he cancels it, does he? Oh no, he did actually let his Roach Warren finish. It was just in case there was like a Glaive Adept attack or something like that. He didn't want to actually use it though, because Roaches are kind of crap against Stalker Oracle. Like you can defend with kind of Ravagers and Queens, but it's not very efficient, and you end up stuck on this high Ravager count that just doesn't scale very well, whereas the Hydra's much more flexible. Yeah, it's kind of tough. Alternately, these Lings just should have been counterattacking more at these stages, and not fighting front on and giving this base up and just abandoning it, because I think it's much harder for the Protoss to push through all this creep into this base, right? That's going to be much harder, and it's going to buy a bit more time for Serral to get those Hydras out. But if you can shave 15, 20 seconds off those Hydras, it's a complete game changer. Either way, guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this 2v2. It's cool to see. Very rare to see Zerg, Protoss, but it created some really unique games. GG, well played.